What's going on, everyone? This is Dom, and this is not the best budget smartphone you can buy, but it's one of two this year that will appeal to purists. Google's LG-made Nexus 5X is definitely worthy of some attention, but these days it's a tough market out there for a flagship with a mid-range price. The question is, can a $379 smartphone win your heart and the cash in your wallet? Well, let's go ahead and find out. The Nexus 5X is the first budget Nexus we've seen in quite a while, and the smallest as well. And as the name suggests, it's the sequel to the Nexus 5. And with that, you'll find a very similar plastic build with updated internals and a few extra surprises. Oh, and in case you're curious about that skin I'm rocking, I picked it up from D-Brand and it looks pretty dope on my ICE Nexus 5X. And if you want to check it out for yourself, I will leave a link below for you. One of the things that bothers me the most about the Nexus 5X design is the fact that it appears that you have dual front-facing speakers, but that is not the case. Only the bottom grille is actually a speaker, which is unfortunate, but if you want dual front-facing speakers, you're gonna have to go with the Nexus 6P. Around the front, you'll find a 5.2-inch IPS 1080p display that's pretty crispy, but the colors are obviously a little dull when compared to AMOLED panels. Inside, there's a Snapdragon 808 processor, 2 GB of RAM, and a 2700 mAh battery. As far as software performance goes, this thing is on point. It's running Android 6.0 Marshmallow, and in its purest form at that. Because of that, you won't deal with any bloatware, third-party customizations, or any other junk that may ruin the Android experience. There's a nice ambient display mode that's great for checking notifications on the fly, and some awesome software features that come along with Marshmallow. One great feature here in the software department isn't really specific to Nexus devices, but with Marshmallow, we have Now on Tap, and it's a pretty cool way to find relevant information based on what's displaying on your screen. It scans the screen for information like people, places, movies, locations, and even some products, and will return instant results, and it's pretty damn helpful. There are also some other new features baked in, like the user-defined app permissions, which is super helpful, a dedicated spot at the top of the app drawer for your frequent apps, and a very special battery saving feature called Doze, which we'll get into in a little bit. I hate to say it, but there's really not much to talk about in the software department. I mean, this is running Marshmallow, everything is smooth, fluid, and just runs like a champ all around. This year, each Nexus is equipped with Google's new fingerprint scanner called Nexus Imprint. The sensor is located on the back side of the device and placed right where your index finger would naturally rest, and it works like a boss. The setup process is very short, and as expected, everything is done within the Settings app. Nexus Imprint is not only for unlocking your device, but it's also an important part of Android Pay and restricting access to specific apps and supported features. Let's be honest here, fingerprint sensors, nothing new, but at least with the Nexus devices, Google has done it right the first time. These things work flawlessly, and they are very quick and speedy. Around the backside, you'll find a 12.3 megapixel camera that's capable of shooting up to 4K videos, but you probably want to stay away from that resolution. Because there's no optical image stabilization with the Nexus 5X, 4K video is super shaky and really not even worth capturing unless you're using a tripod or holding it very still. The good news is the camera on the Nexus 5X is on point. It's not the best, but definitely passable for most anything. It's also great that the Nexus 6P sports the same sensor, so you're not losing out on image quality going with the budget option this year. Things start to break up slightly in low light, but the HDR Plus mode definitely comes in for the win. Overall, it's a good camera though, and certainly the best we've seen on a Nexus device. And if you want to see more photo samples, I will leave a link below for you. Around the front side, we have a 5 megapixel shooter, which is great if you want to get your selfie game on, but it's nothing to brag about. As far as battery life goes, this thing has been pretty consistent for me, getting around 3.5 to 4 hours of screen on time. Obviously, that's not fantastic battery life, but certainly usable throughout the day. And Android's new Doze feature greatly improves standby time as well, which effectively decreases the amount of battery consumption while the phone is idle or in your pocket, and it's pretty damn awesome. While we're on the topic of battery life, one important thing to discuss about the Nexus 5X design is that USB-C port on the bottom. And yes, I know USB-C is the future, blah, blah, blah. That's cool and all, but if you're like me, you probably don't have a ton of USB-C cables laying around, so you're forced to either lug around the one that came in the box or go buy some additional cables. Though on a positive note, it does support quick charging, so you can get up and running real fast. I wanted to keep this review short and sweet. This is a great $379 smartphone, and I'm sure a lot of people will buy it. But with that said, you're probably better off going with the new Moto X. It's pretty much a no-brainer unless you absolutely need the small form factor that comes along along with the Nexus 5X. This is a great smartphone, don't get me wrong, but there are a few top competitors in this space, which ultimately makes it a tough sell for Google. So there you have it, my review of the Nexus 5X, and be sure to subscribe if you're not already to catch my Nexus 6P review coming up in the near future, and leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thanks again for watching, everyone. This is Dom, and I'll catch you in the next video.